Hi, welcome to Mindsutra. Today I am very honored to have Tracy Anne Greenhow as my guest. She's a love and relationship coach. She is helping people manifest true love and live the life of their dreams for over 15 years. 80% of Tracy Anne's clients find love within a year. She is a fully qualified life coach trained in NLP, that is neuro-linguistic programming, and has been coaching people to manifest the life of their dreams for over 15 years. Having thought she would always be the single one and become a cat lady, she wanted to change her destiny. Using her now 5-step formula, she managed to manifest her now husband Daniel in just 8 weeks. She now has a husband, 2 sons, and multiple successful businesses. She has now made it her life purpose to teach others how they can also totally transform their own lives. Some have even beat her 8-week record. So let's welcome Tracy Anne in Mindsutra. Hi Tracy Anne, welcome to my show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. And I'm very, very happy to be here and to speak to your lovely listeners.
So, Tracy Anne, I was so inspired by your story, but I want our listeners to hear your story in your own words. How did you get into manifesting and creating your dream life?
Well, it is an interesting story. I started off sort of teaching and coaching in the world of acting, and then as I sort of got older, I was actually 24 at the time. I'd manifested a lot of things, but I was really ready to find love. I was really ready for that special relationship. And so I used kind of all the coaching tools and the law of attraction tools that I'd been using up to that point to manifest my lovely husband Daniel. And the whole process from start to finish kind of took me, it was 8 weeks to start the manifesting process and then actually find him.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that's how I got into it. I think before that like a lot of people, perhaps I didn't realize that everything in my life I was manifesting already. But it was at that point that I kind of really started to do it a little bit more on purpose.
Right. So, many people have high doubt regarding manifesting your dream life, attracting people in our lives. You know, many people are very skeptical about it. So, how did you believe that we can create our dream life? You know, you manifested in 8 weeks, but I'm sure there must be something that was preventing you before that thing to make it happen. How did you get into believing
there
it?
was. So for me, what was preventing it for me was I didn't want it.
Okay.
But a lot of my clients, some of their things will be just, especially when it comes to relationships, it'll be bad experiences. And so I come from a place when I work with clients and when I'm teaching things, I come from a place of let's take a really good long look at what isn't working, because a lot of the time, especially in the manifesting world, I find that people only want to focus on the positive and they only want a high vibration. And the problem is you can get all of those things, but if you don't work out what's actually blocking you, it's all the subconscious work. It's the reason that we meditate. It's the reason that we might get help with hypnosis or that kind of thing. It's all that stuff that lives below the surface. And so that's where I went when I was manifesting Daniel, but it's certainly where I take my clients to be, to allow them to face the dark side so that they can bring in more light to their lives and other people's lives.
Right. It's very interesting that you point out the subconscious work that is required, because a lot of my work also revolves around transforming limiting beliefs of my clients. So, what would you suggest to people who are stuck because of their limiting beliefs? How, first of all, people are not aware of that their limiting beliefs are preventing manifestation. So, how do you make them aware? First thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, the first thing is that if you're listening to this and you're feeling a little bit dissatisfied with your life, or you're trying to get something and it's not quite working out, and you feel like you've tried everything and nothing's worked, what I would say is that's a fabulous place to start, number one. Number two, get a coach and somebody and a team around you that can help you with getting the thing that you want. I think so often in life, I find it more with women, actually. It's that's very generalistic, but most of my female clients struggle to take on a coach because there's this perception that they're supposed to be able to just do it.
Right.
And when it comes to manifesting true love, I think that people generally feel like if they're not able to do it on their own, then there's something fundamentally wrong with them and they're broken in some way. And so getting somebody like me or even like you to help you to get through that kind of concept of, hang on, I don't know how to get the thing I want, will completely transform things for you. So that's my advice. Once you've realized that you want something that you're not getting, go and get somebody to help you and don't do it alone.
Right. That's so interesting. And the convincing part is the toughest challenge, convincing ourselves that we need help. I think that's the major block that one needs to overcome.
Yeah,
Right. And
absolutely. No, I completely agree.
yeah, so another common question that I get from clients is, yeah, we manifested somebody in our life, but the relationship also goes from various highs and lows. So attracting is not enough, maintaining that beautiful relationship is also enough. It's not, it's required. So what would you suggest for that?
I think this is, I've been with Daniel now for 10 years and we've been through lots of different things in our relationship, good, bad, ugly. And there's something that keeps us together. And I think it is we are both very solution focused. And so we both want to learn from things that we've been through, good and bad. And we both look to take care of the other person and look for solutions in any conflict or any sort of bump in the road that we might have. And not just that, like, we allow each other to be each other. So we're allowed to be ourselves. We allow each other to be ourselves. And so I have my own life that is mine, and then I have the role that I play as a mum, and then I have a role that I play as a wife, and sometimes all three will cross over, and sometimes they live quite separately, but it's really important that I have my own identity that isn't just I am a wife or I am a mother. I also have the other role, and I think that's important for Daniel too. So it's silly stuff like being able to go out with your friends for dinner without having to think, oh, I need to ask permission, or is he going to be, is there going to be jealousy coming up? Is he going to be wondering where I am? And so we have a very healthy dynamic that kind of gets us through tricky and great times,
Right. That's such an important point that you have pointed out. So, with law of attraction, so can you elaborate more about law of attraction? What is it? The tool that you are using.
Lindsay, I think I lost you.
Yeah. So
Nancy, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Can you hear?
Nancy, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it cut out there. Do you want to just begin that question again?
Yes. Can you explain to our audience what is law of attraction? Many people believe that it's a make-believe thing and it does not work. But can you explain, according to you, what is law of attraction?
The law of attraction to me is really very simple. It is about aligning yourself and your mind with the thing that you want to achieve. And so one of the biggest things that I teach in my Finding True Love online course, one of the first steps is clear the negatives. And I've mentioned that already. It's so important to do that. But then you also need to go through the process of being able to know what you want and really have a very clear goal of what it is you're working towards. And then, depending on the person, you want to have as many reminders, as many visual prompts, as many things around you that get you to your goal. A lot of people, I think, the people that don't believe in manifestation, I think, are the ones that think, if I sit and think about winning the lottery enough, then when I play the lottery tonight, it will happen.
Right.
And then they get disappointed and they don't believe in the law of attraction when they don't win the lottery. And so, and then people will say, well, you're not being specific to the universe and all of that. Well, there is a little thing called odds, and the odds when you play the lottery are stacked against you. But when you're manifesting something for your life, whether it be true love, whether it be a new car, whether it be a house or whatever, you can be very specific about that and very clear. And it's all about finding the path of least resistance, really. And if you have any resistance, knowing how to overcome that. And that's kind of what I teach people when manifesting true love. I mean, the things that I teach for manifesting true love are, you can use them for anything. The principles apply all the time, or, you know, in every way.
Right, right. The path of least resistance, that's an interesting thing that you have spoken about. Can you elaborate more on what is the resistance you're talking about?
The resistance, did you say?
Yes, resistance. So can you elaborate more on that? The path of least resistance you just spoke?
Got you. Sorry, I missed the bit about the path of least resistance. So we talk a lot about when people come across the law of attraction, you can't avoid the word flow or alignment or, you know, getting out of the way. So it really is about clearing the path and just making sure that you can do it easily. I think sometimes as humans, we believe that to achieve something, it has to be hard work and it has to be graft. You know, Daniel and I very much, when we met each other, subscribed to, you have to work 9 to 5, you have to do all the hours in the world. Now we live a life where actually we love working, but it's a part of our lives, and we both get to do the school run, and we both get to be free on weekends if we want to. And so it's about cultivating the image and making it work for you and not subscribing to what other people think that you should do. So this, you know, you talk about limiting beliefs.
Right.
There, for us, a limiting belief that was actually getting in the way of our harmony was sort of looking at this, you have to work this 9 to 5 pattern. And to be successful, you have to work so many hours. And
right.
Yeah, you know, of course, there is legwork to put in, and there is some hours to put in, absolutely. But it really is all about creating the world that you want. And sometimes I don't know what it would necessarily be for the individual person, but when I'm coaching people, it really is as simple as going, okay, well, I'm a morning person. I don't need to get up and work 9 to 5. I can get up at 5 a.m. and work through till 11, and then my day is done.
Right.
Or whatever the case may be. Do you understand? So sometimes the path of least resistance is the bit that feels like, well, no, we can't do that because that means we're not doing it right.
Yes, yes. It's more about the, programming that has been done in our brains and reprogramming it to what we want.
Exactly. And, you know, those limiting beliefs, those programs that I've had from being a child, they're still there, and there will still be one now and again where I go, that's where that's coming from. That's what's holding me back. I don't like using those words, but that's what's getting me stuck on this little bit of my journey. So self-awareness, I think, comes into play hugely when we're talking about limiting beliefs and how we decide to live our lives.
Right, right. So if any of our listeners are wanting to attract true love in their lives, what sort of mindset they can work upon for that to work, for law of attraction to work? Can you give some tips?
So in a nutshell, I follow my course is a 5-step process. And the first thing is you clear out the negatives. Then you decide how you want it to be, and you go into great detail to do that. because then you have a plan to follow and you know exactly what you're going for. So when I was manifesting Daniel, I'd worked out all the things that were holding me back, and they can be so deep rooted and so subconscious.
Yes.
Get those cleared, get them into your awareness so that you can process them. Then you work out how you want it to be, and I wrote on a very small piece of paper exactly how I wanted to feel when I had met I hate using the word man of my dreams, but if I say man of my dreams, people will understand what I mean. My true love. And I folded it up and I put it in my bra and carried it around with me for those whole 8 weeks. But this was an anchor. Then that takes us into the next step, which is believe and visualize. The third step is believe and visualize. And with believe and visualize, for me, I genuinely thought that I was going to be a lonely cat lady for my whole life, and I don't even like cats. And
Yeah.
so I know, it's ridiculous. I don't know why being a lonely old lady meant I was going to buy some cats, but there you have it. And so having these are just really simple things that I did. There's so much more depth to this, but having that in my bra, when I had those moments of what's the point, he's not coming, I would put my hand on my boob, which at the time I was living in London, so it's great because nobody really pays attention to you in London.
Okay.
And I put my hand on my boob and I was just like, he's on his way, he's on his way, he's on his way. And then once you're clear on those 3 steps, the 4th step is taking action. But taking action, you can get it so wrong. You really can. You can take action in all the wrong areas. And so I help people to really figure out actions that help them to move forward. So, for example, I did online dating for about a week and absolutely hated it. And so that action for me, whilst it's a great one for some people, and I do encourage people to use online dating as a tool, actually for me, it just brought up so much problem, and I just was like, no, this isn't for me. So I cleared it out of the way. And then the final step is become an attraction magnet. So that's about incorporating all of the 4 steps and then adding on that little bit of gold dust, with making sure that you're aligned and so that you are constantly able to use these steps. So at the time when I was following these steps, they felt clunky and they felt difficult because I was still figuring it out. I've now made it simple for my clients so they don't really have to feel that. But having those 5 steps in place now means that whenever something comes up, I can just really simply go through them very, very quickly, and I still use them even to this day.
Right, that's amazing, and you have really simplified such a vast topic in just 5 points. And that was an interesting point where you said that you are trying to manifest, but the person is not coming, but you ensured that you believed by saying that he's coming, he's on his way. Because there are moments when even my clients, when they are trying to build their dream life, and there are moments and setbacks where nothing is happening despite taking action. So what will you suggest to them to keep going despite the challenges?
Yes. So this what you're talking about right now is the beautiful part of A, having a coach, and B, understanding that just because you get a coach, it doesn't mean that you're not going to face bumps or face that feeling of nothing's happening, what's going on. And so what a coach, like you and I, we will give people tools to actually be able to manage that. And putting the piece of paper in my bra and touching my bra was a pattern interrupt for me.
Right.
And a mantra, an anchor that took me back to that feeling of what it was I was actually going after. It's reminding me of my goal. And so if I didn't have that, what would happen is that I would go into a deep spiral of he's never coming, it's not going to work. And so it's constantly understanding that when you have a negative thought, you have a negative thought. That's okay. It's what you then do with it. So it's really important, I feel, for people to go, oh, okay, well, I'm having a negative thought. I don't believe that I'm going to be able to manifest true love. Do a little bit of work on that and play with it for a little bit. And then you can move into things like these mantras, these anchors, these pattern interrupts, the other stuff that I teach. Within my course, I have what's called a self-love toolkit, because when you're manifesting anything, especially true love, you absolutely need to quite like yourself and fall in love with you.
Right.
And so I actually teach people how to do that, because I think so many, we hear that phrase all the time when it comes to manifesting true love, but it's very difficult, I think, for people to be able to actually know how to do it. So, yeah, it kind of goes as part of that. You just need the tools, you know?
Right. That's amazing. And continuing your mantra, the thing you keep in bra, that was a brilliant idea, I think. So there are. So can you tell more about your program? You know how it is covered and how long it is. What is the duration of your program, and how do you get into helping people attract their dream mate?
So, so I have an online course called Find That Match. The Find That Match e-course, with lots of other things like meditation and all the tools that I've used that some are scientifically proven. So that course is open and it's a lifetime access course. So if people want to work with me, they can buy the course and they'll have it there forever. It releases over a 5-week period, but you'll have it forever. You can keep going back, keep using these tools and techniques. They never age. It's not a fashion thing. These things will take you through the rest of your life, and they'll be useful. So yeah, it's very easy for people to work with me. I also do one-to-one coaching, but the online course is a really great way, if you feel a bit nervous about that, to sort of start to learn how you can really get on the manifesting train, and what I'm like to work with, because it's all video, so it's really easily digestible, and I make it as easy and as bite-sized as I possibly can, so that people get the best results.
Right. That's amazing. And it just reminded me of another question. See, you had said that when you were trying to attract your true love, you started
Yeah.
doing online dating, but you found that it was not for you. So that might be the
Yes.
same case with many people who meet people who are not right for them in their process of, attracting true love. So how can people know quicker what is right for them or what is not right for them? How to know what resonates for them?
Well, this is about, it really is. I'd say, in response to that question, my step 2, how do you want it to be, is probably the biggest one. You need to know exactly what you want. Now, this is an issue that I face with probably 90% of my clients. When we go through step 2 and we're like, right, how do you want it to be? They immediately will tell me everything they don't want in a person.
Right.
They tell me how they don't want to feel. And so it can actually take a little bit of snapping. And this is why people need a coach, because I will ask you, right, what would you like? You'll tell me all the things you don't want, but you don't even realize that you've told me all the things you don't want. And so what's happening is you don't know what you're looking for. You're walking around with a blindfold on, just knowing that you don't want to bump into a lamppost, or you don't want to bump into a stray dog, but you can't see where you're going, and so inevitably you'll bump into a lamppost, you'll get hit by a car. Does that make sense? I'm trying to make the visual impact quite straightforward, but when it comes to actually manifesting true love, you do not want your blinkers on. And I like to start people from a very clean slate. This is about really clearing out the grub, giving it a good spring clean, and then taking steps forward. And, I've had great success in helping people to get married, have kids, and in fact, actually, my sister, who beat my 8-week record, by the way, I coached her, and she got engaged just the other day. So,
oh my God, that's fantastic.
So, yeah, it's really. So it's not only has this whole process helped me to manifest my true love, it's helped my sister, and now I have a wonderful brother-in-law to be. So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
This conversation is so interesting that I have another great question that couple of clients ask me. So I hope you don't mind asking me that.
No, no, you go ahead.
Yeah, so one of my client is unable to cut off previous emotional investment in previous relationship, but she wants to attract true love now, but she's not able to let
Mm-hmm.
go of the past as well. So how do you help those kind of issues as well? To move on from clean slate. How do you
Yeah.
get clients to come to a clean slate at first place?
So the process is the process when you do clear the negatives.
Yeah.
It is very it's a huge step, and this isn't about just cutting off past relationships because they affect you. This
Yeah.
is about actually going, how are they affecting me? And what's the residue that's left over? And giving it space, not stuffing it down, not being over emotional and have it rule your life, but to give it its space so that you can objectively kind of look at it. Then I have, like I said, as part of the 5 steps, I've got the self-love toolkit. There are tools in there, practical tools that actually help you to rewire your thinking and the way that you process your emotions. And then once you are in step 2, which is the how do you want it to be, suddenly it starts to break down some of those emotional connections that you actually had with the previous person and what they did to you. Because most people are coming to me if they're going through a breakup and they can't let go of this person.
Right.
By the time they're at step 2, step 3, the tide is kind of going out on that relationship because they know what they want, and all of a sudden they're able to start believing and visualizing what they truly deserve. Plus, they're doing the work in the self-love toolkit. So it's kind of a sort of a pronged approach that we come at things from different angles, even though I've created like 5 linear sort of steps, if you like.
Right, right. Wow, this has been very interesting and very insightful. So, if people want to know more about you and your work, where they can find you, any social media handles or website you can mention?
Yeah, so the best I've got a connect with me page, which it's really simple. It's connect.findthatmatch.com, and on there there's a free masterclass if people want to watch my free masterclass about what I teach. There's also links on there to the love and relationship support community that I have on Facebook, and you can also contact me directly. But yes, it. I definitely would just say to everyone, if it isn't me, certainly get somebody to help you through this process, because it can be a minefield, and it can be hard, and that's okay. But we all deserve true love, and there's more than just one person out there for everybody. That's my true belief.
Right, right. Wow, that's been such a conversation, and thank you, Tracy, and for being on my show. I'm sure our listeners will benefit from our conversation, and good luck with your program. And I'm sure many will be interested after hearing our conversation. So thank you so much, and congratulations for all that you have manifested in
Thank
your life.
you. Yes, thank you, and congratulations to you too. I know you've manifested yourself a great life. So thank you so much for having me. It really has been a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Likewise, Tracy, and thank you so much.